Okay, so this is the fourth layer of this painting, and as I look at it, I'm pretty happy with, well, and you'll see it in a moment, what we've accomplished so far. And today I'm getting a smaller brushes. I'm going to be defining more and more detail to make it really start to pop. So let's get going. Okay, so this is where we ended with layer 3, and I'm pretty happy with it. I can see the potential now of what we're going to be doing here. Let's start at the bottom. For example, we haven't yet gone and brought any more trees up yet, and the reason is we're still working on the sky here. So these will be the last thing we probably do, but I can certainly work down here a little bit and do some more. I noticed that there's a little different grayish color here, and so it's mixed in very nicely, and a lot of these little areas I'll be finishing up with. We're not going to go up here because we're going to still work on these. I need to define this a little more, and we're going to be working on these wispy clouds right here and then more detailed ones. This is looking pretty good though, so we can just develop it more, and we'll see how far we get in this fourth layer. Okay, I noticed that there's a lot of broken and little bit of areas there on the cloud that I need to bring up a little more. Same thing at the bottom here. It's not a flat straight thing. It's all of them are broken a little bit more. So I'm going to work on these clouds. For example, let's work on that a little bit. Just getting it to pop. Here's a little area right there that we can just add that. And that's looking a little bit better. Here's another area that pops, and then just use that, get that finger working already. And let's make a little more pop right there. I like to, once I put any color on the brush, I sort of like to move it around, and it gets me to go to different places, and also I use up the paint that way. For example, I see that it's a pretty nice little curve here coming up like this, and it's pretty strong with paint, so I'm going to do that. And there's more white here. Lay it on. So that's how I get more details. Just use it up. And it's a lot of delicate touching, just touching the canvas. I see some strong little white coming along here. Let's make it stronger here. All right, I'm pushing the brush in a little bit, and now I'm just very lightly touching it, but we get this wavering kind of look here. All right, I'm going to continue. So when there's hardly anything left on it, I will go to areas that just get a very light little dose. Look at that, you see? And this area gets a little bit of that also. So I'm using up all the paint that's on the brush. And now I'm gonna get some more. I'm gonna put a little bit of gray into the white because I want to work on this gray area. It's a soft, very soft gray here. Let me take a little more gray. Yeah, that's sort of the look I want to get. And so let me get more. I'm doing some transparent, some gray, and a little bit of white. And here we go. Running down here. Needs a little more gray. All right. Here. Okay. There is a little bit of blue in the gray, so let me get a little bit of blue right there. I got a little bit of it. I don't want to do it exactly like that. I don't need to, but I can just take some of those colors and which is also very good, and just bring it down like that. All right, so it's looking better. I want my painting to look painterly. What does that mean, painterly? You know it's a painting. You know it's not a photograph. I don't want to make it look like a photograph. Nor am I that kind of an anal guy. You know, some people really want to get in and make it exactly like the picture. Well, that's not me. I just want to suggest what we got going here. But now I like, there's an undercurrent underneath the blue. Let me make that a little more bluey gray. Okay, if I may, a little darker here. Bluey and gray. Okay, more. All right, and a little bit lighter up at the top. I want to get this sweeping up here very lightly. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I got a little intermingle of colors here, and I like that. Let me just lightly leave that alone. That's fine. I kind of like that. And so let's work on this little detail right here. And it's right underneath the belly of that cloud. And so we're going to just have some fun doing that. Here we go. Dang, 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 dang. Bup, 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 bup. I'm poking it. Working that brush. Look at that. Okay. So it's just suggesting. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to. I'm just going to shoot it out a little bit and leave it alone. And then there's more along here. There's another one right along here. Bump, bump, bump. Well, I'm out of paint, so I need to get some more paint here. And I notice this one even has some blue in there. I'll get the blue. Oh, more paint. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, that's pretty cool. And then there's a third one coming along here. How about some more? I'm still using some transparent paint. As we do it, see, I'm just bouncing the brush. Turn the brush. Okay, now it's getting a little more paint also. So as I develop the painting, the colors do get a little bit thicker toward the end, especially when you're laying into the details. Use that finger a little bit. It can be casual, it can be very loose, and I notice it's a bit strong up here, and it's also like clouds. It's bumpy and roundish edges popping around, and that's it. So we got happening here. I'm rolling the brush to get almost all the paint off the brush. Let's let's have some of the cloud covering some of the painting. For example, right here, it's doing some stuff here. So that's detail. I'm not making it look like that, but it's looking pretty good. I noticed one area there, it's coming up like that. And it's a little thicker here. And you see, I'm just dabbing it. It's the art of using your brush well. So and it just takes time for you to, I'm just hardly touching. So now this brush is interesting because if I want to, I can do things like this with it also, splay it out so that the color is not one continuous flat color. I don't like that ever. I want to have multi colors coming and breaking through, so you see some of the layers around, and I can go back and soften up a few of these things if I want to. It's still it hasn't dried yet, so I can play around. What about over here? So I noticed there's some getting a little lighter and stronger here. So what does that mean? Lighter and yellow also. So let's do some of that. See, I don't want to paint straight across. I want to dab it. Dab it around. Have some strong, then some not strong. So it's the clouds, I'll give you a word. The clouds are pulsating. They're popping in and out. Pulsating. This is what we want. Nothing flat. We want to have things like that just happening. popping out and in. Very lightly over here, just a little bit more. That's all. So even this has a little bit of color. And I agree, we don't want to have it just one color. Let's very lightly kiss it. Just look at that, I'm just kissing it so it has a little bit of lighter broken color, just like maybe this cloud's lightly coming across it. What about up here? Well, this already has a nice texture, but we can add a little more. Just lightly with my brush that hardly has any paint on it. I sure get my money's worth out of the paint because I use so much of the paint off the brush. And so look, we got some nice pulsating clouds here. How about some more? Now I just use all the paint off that brush, and it's popping in and out, little colors here and there. That's what we want. So do I want a little more yellow? Well, yeah, we can have a little more yellow here. Just a little bit. Maybe a little more here. That's good. Is there a little yellow here? It could be. We're going to be doing something later. We want to put a little bit of this orange. So what is happening is the sun is down here, right here, and somehow the orange pinkish is coming up from the sun. It's still here, but it's shooting up some color, and we're going to be using some of that. It warms up the painting and makes it, give it a more nudge also. So just some of it right here. Oh, I got it on my finger. All right. That's the first layer of it right there. And this has some in the sky. Just touching it there. We'll add more later. And there's more over here. All right, we can put some over here. I like threes. 1, 2, 3 areas. You don't want 2 or 4, 3 or 5. That works. And each one is a little different. And generally a little bit, one is stronger, one is weaker. Variety is one of the big goals. Lots of variety here. So I'm going to take this, the pink, and mix it in with yellow. And let's see what I got here. little bit here and there. I kind of like that. Yeah, how about a little more over here? Move it around. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just doing stuff. Touching it. If I like it, I'll leave it alone. If I don't like it, I can change it. So we're getting more color. We're warming things up a little bit. And now maybe I wanted to put a little over here. There's not, I'm just doing it so lightly. All right. Interesting what's happening. I need more white up there. I'm gonna leave the colors that are on the brush. I'm not big on wiping off the colors. I'll just leave it there. And I'm going to take a little more white and dab it along here so it's a little stronger. Just dab and pull toward my left. I always start, I notice, I'm noticing my own hand. I start and then pull. And as I pull, I drop the paint off. So it's more rippling and some is up there even. Yeah, let's see, it comes over there. I see a little bit coming up here. Yeah. Dab it, pull it.
I'll get one of me sitting down too.